Krishna has just killed the Rajak, the dhobi, the washerman, just with his hand, as if it was a sword. Actually, before he killed him, he gave him such a chance to gain the most wonderful thing. Dattu bhavishyati param shreyo, that in the future, if you deliver these clothes, if you offer service to me, then datus te na atra samsaya. Without a doubt, you're going to get the param shreyas. You're going to get the highest benefit. But yet, because the washerman was wicked, he had envy in his heart, he could not surrender to Krishna. Even though he was face to face with Krishna, he could see Krishna. Sometimes we think that if I could only see Krishna perhaps just one time, then it would be so much easier to give myself to him. But actually, Kaliya saw Krishna, and when he saw Krishna, it bit him. And the washerman saw Krishna and he criticized him, called him a fool and Balaram a fool. And Kamsa saw Krishna and tried to kill him. So seeing Krishna isn't the answer to the solution. The solution is developing love for Krishna, for developing our Krishna consciousness. So after Krishna killed the washerman, showing everyone how wicked and envious he was, then Krishna took whatever clothes he wanted for himself and Balaram, and then gave whatever clothes the cowherd boys wanted to the cowherd boys, and then he just left all the rest of the very fancy, colorful, opulent clothes on the ground and walked away. Now, Krishna, as we mentioned yesterday, he doesn't need any clothing at all. He is called Paripurna. He is complete in himself. He doesn't need anything for his own pleasure. Sadaishwarya Purna. And one could ask the question, then why would he take these clothes that were actually the remnants of Kamsa? Even though they appeared opulent, they were the remnants of Kamsa. Now would Krishna take the remnants of Kamsa? Certainly not. These clothes were actually Krishna's clothes, provided by Krishna's Lila Shakti, for him to dress most appropriately while he was in Mathura. And by the arrangement of the Lila Shakti, there they were, present. And this is the difference on one level between us and Krishna. Krishna's energies, his yoga maya, makes all arrangements. It is independent. He is given this Shakti independence. So she can make all the arrangements for his pleasure. And in the material world, although we try to make all the arrangements for our pleasure, all of them are ultimately quite unsuccessful. We don't have that type of an energy working for us. Rather, we have Krishna's Maya Shakti, practically speaking, working against us, foiling, confounding, ruining, stopping all our plans. Now, if you think this isn't true, and if you happen to think that this world is a place where you can actually enjoy yourself, And usually when we think like that, we usually have an if, an only if I can move this out of the way, only if I can get this, only if I don't have to worry about that, then I will be very, very, very happy. And this illusory consciousness that makes us think in this way is called Maya. Because this world is certified by Krishna as Dukkalayama Shashvatam. And anyone who doesn't understand this, who's above the age of 16 years old, is is walking around with their eyes closed. And then and devotees shouldn't really bother reading the newspaper, but if you think you can enjoy in this world, then you should read the newspaper. In any case, Krishna, after seeing and killing the washerman and getting very, very new clothes on, then he kept on walking in Mathura. And the next person he saw was a weaver, or we will say a tailor. But he was also a weaver. Now here's what Prabhupada explains about this, his meeting the weaver in the Krishna book. Thus, Krishna Balaram and the boys then proceeded along the main road. In the meantime, a devotee who was a tailor took the opportunity of service. And this is what made him a devotee. He had bhakti, of course. Otherwise, because that's what it means to be a devotee. He had bhakti, which means he had some love, he had love for Krishna. But he took the opportunity of service, because this is the desire of a devotee, to serve. The desire of a non-devotee, a conditioned soul, is to enjoy himself in this world, but the desire of a devotee is to serve, to make some offering. The service is an expression. The English word we would use is a gesture of his internal mood to please Krishna. Comes out, it is manifest as seva, or service. So he saw the tailor, he saw that Krishna and Balaram had these clothes, and he took the opportunity and made that cloth into very nice clothing that perfectly fit Krishna and Balaram. And thus, very nicely attired, no longer in his village attire, but wearing very, very fancy dress. Krishna is known as Natabara. What does Natabara mean? But not only dancer, the topmost of dancers. So part of being a dancer is that you have to wear very fancy clothes. So Krishna not only was the most expert dancer, but he was an expert dresser, and he used to dress in such a wonderful way. So, although sometimes Krishna's devotees don't care how they're dressed, but the Supreme Lord, their master, he cares very much how he's dressed. This is a part of his all-attractiveness, his all-attractive features. So he was wearing the most colorful, decorated clothing, and that would attract the attention of everyone even more, because this tailor had provided or had fit the cloth that he had gotten from the washerman. And Krishna and Balaram, looked like elephants dressed with colored clothing on the full moon day or on the dark moon day. They looked very, very, very special and attractive. So Krishna was very pleased with the tailor. And different from how he treated the wicked washerman, the righteous and pious tailor, who was a devotee, because Krishna was pleased with him. And why was Krishna displeased with the washerman? Raise your hand. Why do you think he was displeased?
Service.
Huh?
Service.
Why was he displeased with the washerman? The washerman, the Rajak. Yes? He called him Balisha, that's one reason. Huh? He offended Balaram, that's, yes, one of the main reasons. He was a servant of Kamsa, and he had that mood. Well, Krishna's own mother and father were in prison, and he aligned himself. He considered himself not a servant of Krishna, but a servant of the evil Kamsa. And he was so arrogant, so proud. But this soul, the tailor, as soon as he saw the opportunity for service, he took it. Soon as he saw, this is a chance for me to offer something to Krishna, to do something for Krishna, he grabbed that, he took it. And therefore, he was a devotee. And Krishna therefore was pleased with him. He had a devotional mood. The washerman had a wicked, envious mood. And Krishna poked him by asking him for the clothes, and that envious, nasty, wicked mood came out. And just the opposite. The weaver, the tailor, had such a sweet mood of service. Let me do this for you, O Supreme Lord. So Krishna was very pleased with the tailor and gave him the benediction of Sarupya Mukti, which means that after leaving his body he would be liberated and would attain a four-handed body exactly like that of Narayan in the Vaikuntha planets. Now, our acharyas also give another meaning for this, because they say also, Tasya Prasanno Bhagavan, that the Supreme Lord Prasanno, he was pleased with him, and Pradats Sarupyam Atmana, he gave him a form just like his. And what was Krishna's form like? Huh? No, it was like a cowherd boy. And immediately, our acharyas also say, that right in front of everyone's eyes, Krishna's beauty entered into him. And right in front of everyone, he assumed the form of a very beautiful cowherd boy. Krishna can do this. He can fulfill everyone's desire because he is Bhagavan, he is the Supreme Lord. Pradat Sarupyam Atmana. And not only that, Shriyam Chaparamam Loke Bala Aishwarya Smriti Indriyam. Not only did he give him that form, but he also gave him Shriyam Paramam, the supreme opulence in this world. In this world, he gave him the supreme opulence. Now, some of us think this might be very nice if I had supreme opulence in this world. And then I would be very wealthy, I would be very powerful, I'd be so beautiful. And of course the devotees would think, all that opulence I will use for Krishna's service, knowing that it is his gift only and it is used for him. It is his. He is an ocean and we can just possess a drop by his mercy. And of course the devotees think none of this is for me, but it is Krishna's and it is useful for Krishna's pleasure. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he told Srila Prabhupada, if you ever get, you should print books. He didn't say Krishna will give you money and therefore you should buy this and that and this and that for yourself. He said print books, use Krishna's money, use whatever Krishna gives you, whatever opulence. And we see that the devotees, they all have different opulences, gifts from Krishna. And whatever Krishna gives us, we should use it for him. And never, ever think, oh, by my power, because I'm so wonderful, I have this, and I have done this, and look at this one over here. He doesn't have what I have. If we start thinking like that, Krishna, we already said yesterday that he is chor, but he doesn't only steal makkon, he can take away everything, even our life, like he did with the washerman. And then where will our pride go? So whatever we have that's a gift of Krishna, we should use specifically in his service. So Sriyam cha paramam loke bala aishvarya smriti indriyam. Strength of memory, smriti, he gave him. Sarvasya chaham hridesana vishto mata smritim jnanam abhavanam cha. And strength, dexterity, power of the senses he gave him too. Krishna can give anything he wants to anyone he wants. And he can take also anything he wants from anyone he wants. So very, very wonderful. But that was not the end of Krishna's journey through Mathura. Practically speaking, this was the beginning. Did you ever think of what you want from Krishna? Because we all do service. That's what it means to be a devotee. But what do you want from Krishna? Would you like cowherd boy body just like that so everyone could see? Would you like to have a very, very wonderful memory, which can be very dangerous also? You can remember all kinds of things you don't want to remember. Would you like to be the most intelligent? Would you like to be so wealthy? When I first began chanting, the devotee who introduced me to Srila Prabhupada, his name is Rupanuga Prabhu, and he said, one day, if you keep chanting, Krishna's going to come to you and say, I am like this. And whenever he would say this, he would always say, I am like this. I'm not sure why, but like this. Maybe when Krishna one day comes, he'll go, I am like this. What do you want? And he always would then say, when Krishna asks you, what do you want? Don't tell him you want anything. Tell him, I am not serving you. I'm not a baniya. I'm not a businessman. I have not done service to you to get anything from you. No, I just want to serve you. So he told us this right in the very beginning. So when Krishna comes to you one day and says, I am like this, what do you want? Don't ask for a new motorcycle. Don't ask for a new dhoti or sari or all the things that we think that we didn't have in this life that we wish we would have had. And only if I had those things, then I would be happy. Don't ask for these things. Just say, my Lord, let me serve you. please allow me to serve you. This is all I want. Janmani janmanishvare bhavatad bhakti ahaituki tvai nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamani mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatad bhakti. And Krishna, he thinks, what should I do with these kind of people who just want to serve me? They don't want anything else. And then he will give himself ultimately. If our desire to serve and please is honest and sincere and fully developed. And he kindly gives us so many situations that are not so pleasant, just to help us develop this specific mood of Krishna. I am yours. Gotapte varanam tata. I am yours. Now, the next person, Krishna and Balaram meet with the cowherd boys as they wander on the roads of Mathura fearlessly. Kamsa is a cruel monarch, a dictator, a despot is the English word. But they are fearless as they walk through the streets of Mathura. So then, Tata Sudamno Bhavanam Mala Karasya Jagmatu Taudrisva Sa Samutaya Nanama Shirasha movie. So then he came to the home of Sudama, who was a Mali. Now these three persons, the first three people he met, after seeing the ladies and after seeing the Brahmanas, they're not the most high-class persons of Mathura. He's seen a washerman, a dhobi, a tailor, and now a Mali. So immediately he went to the home of this Mali, and whose name was, the two of them, Jagmatu, the two of them, they went to the home of Sudama. Actually went to his house. That which Akrura had begged Krishna for. Please come to my home. And he was a relative, a senior, superior relative of Krishna. And Krishna said, no, I won't come to your home. Not in a harsh way. He said, later I will come. But to Sudama, he immediately went to his home. Srila Jiva Goswami in Gopal Champu, he describes something very wonderful. He said that this Sudama was even a more intimate devotee than the tailor, the weaver. And also, I should mention this, that our acharyas explained that he also, this weaver, he especially knew how to weave together, make very soft threads out of bamboo. Some of our acharyas have explained this. And to weave this together into a cloth. And from his house, he brought jewels, and wonderful cloth. And he weaved together very, very nice bracelets and armlets that were specifically very soft and very valuable. This was his devotion. He wanted to give Krishna something very, very, very wonderful, the best that he had in his house. So he brought the jewels from his house and wove that into these bangles and armbands, because Krishna was going to be wrestling the next day. And when you're wrestling, as we shall hear, Krishna, when you have to fight and you're pushing your body against the other wrestler and you're pushing, so the wooden it wouldn't be good if Krishna had hard metal bangles. So the tailor, he gave him very, very, very soft cloth that would be suitable for him to touch his very soft body during the wrestling match, which was going to be the next day. So then, but Krishna didn't go into his house, and he gave this tailor such wonderful benedictions. Who remembers any of the benedictions that he gave him? Yes, one. Raise your hand though. Raise your hand. Yes, yes, yes. Sarupya Mukti, yes. Any other thing he gave him? What did he give him? Supreme opulences. Yes, such as what? Smriti. Fine memory. Perfect memory. What else? Sriyam. Opulences or beauty. And he gave him influence, to be able to influence. Charisma is the English word, which means power. And senses that would remain, a body, he would never become ill. Of course, unless he lived in Vrindavan. Then, of course, he'd have to get something. But this one, this Sudama, had even more devotion, more bhakti. Because our Srila Jiva Goswami explains that the tailor, he wouldn't go to Vrindavan from Mathura because of fear of Kamsa. But this Sudama, using the excuse, oh, Vrindavan has such nice flowers, let me go there. So he would go to Vrindavan to find the nice flowers of Vrindavan, the special Baili, Chameli, Jui. These are the most fragrant flowers that come in the very hot season. So he would go, and as he would go to find these special flowers, he would see Krishna and Balaram as they were herding the cows and playing their flutes and playing with the other boys. And he became so captivated by Krishna and Balaram and their dealings with the cows and the boys. And it was so sweet for him that he would use the excuse of finding the flowers of Vrindavan just to go to see Krishna and Balaram. He was so attracted to Krishna. So that's one way we could say that bhakti is stronger or weaker, is by how attracted one is to Krishna. So he would go every day to see Krishna and Balaram, and he would pick the most fragrant flowers. And you know what he would do with those flowers? He would not bring them back to Mathura. But what do you think he would do with them? What do you think he would do with them? He had so much bhakti. What do you think he would do with them? And then what do you think he would do with that garland? He would give it to Krishna. This is the perfection of being a garland maker. Is to be able to, one's garland, and he would make the most beautiful, beautiful, fragrant, soft garlands out of the most wonderful flowers. Because the Vrindavan forest would produce these most wonderful flowers for Krishna. And this is the secret of Vrindavan. If one wants to fit in well in Vrindavan, one really has to be in a serving mood to Krishna and detached from the externals of material life. Even one time someone said something to Prabhupada about enjoying Vrindavan. And of course Prabhupada really did love Vrindavan. But he said, no. Vrindavan is for Goswamis. and I am Godas. But Vrindavan really is for Goswamis. And those who are exalted in that way can pierce through the externals and see Vrindavan actually as it is, as the Goswamis did. Kujat kokila hansa sarasa kirne tirne mayar kule nana ratna nabada mula vitapasi yukta Vrindavane. So they were, of course, they were like that. So the Vrindavan forest would produce these most wonderful flowers, all meant for the pleasure of Krishna. So they went into Sudama's house. And so anyway, he made friendship with Krishna. Sudama made friendship with Krishna, and especially Krishna became dear to him, had a special affection for him, because one of his dearest friends was named Sudama, and he had the same name. So that made them especially close. So when Krishna was walking through Mathura, he suddenly had the idea, that flower garland maker, Sudama, his house must be near here. So they asked, do you know where he is? Do you know where he is? And in India, one thing you learn is that when you ask, which direction is this in? Then after you hear the answer, then you ask another person the same question. And then you ask another person the same question. And if you can get 3 people to say the same thing, then you can be reasonably assured that you're going in the right direction. Because the people are so helpful, they don't want to say, I don't know. So whether they know or not, they don't want to break the rasa, and that they want to help you and serve you and take care of you. They say, yes, yes, there, just go that way. So when Krishna, we won't, because it's a little bit late, so we won't enter fully into Sudama's house, but I'll just tell you one thing that Srila Jiva Goswami said. When Krishna entered the house of Sudama, he himself manifested the most wonderful of fragrances. Because Krishna is the source of all fragrances, ultimately. So he manifested. Where did in the Bhagavad-Gita, where does Krishna say, and also the Bhagavatam, where is fragrance manifested in this world? The earth, yes. So the earth has the quality of fragrance. What does that mean? That means you put a seed in. Now a seed doesn't have any fragrance. You put a rose seed or a gandharaj seed in, and it doesn't have any fragrance. And then you add water. And water doesn't have any fragrance. But from the earth, just by that, it will take out the most wonderful fragrances, and that flower will manifest it just from a seed and some water. And so many different fragrances, all come from the earth, just by putting that seed in and some water. So the earth has all the fragrances in them, and Krishna is the source of the earth, and he has the most fragrances, and his transcendental body is the most fragrant. And sometimes when he wanders in the forests of Vrindavan, after he's moved from one place to another, then the people, the Brajabasis, the gopis, the cowherd boys, they walk into a forest and they go, Krishna has been here. Because they recognize the special fragrance of Krishna. So when Krishna walked into Sudama's house, he manifested that most special of transcendental fragrances, the fragrance of Krishna. And Sudama immediately understood that Krishna has come to my house. So we'll stop here. And tomorrow, Krishna willing, we shall hear this very, very sweet and wonderful exchange between Krishna and the florist, the Mali, whose name was Sudama. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Bhimanande.